Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. I'm trying to say luminance, but my voice is back. So I'm talking again. Perhaps someday I might figure out something to do on the, I don't know, ASMR spectrum, I guess, but not yet. Anyway, it's always good to see you again. Are you normally up here at like 1 to 3 a.m.? We'll see what I figure out. But my mic is good, and I have a bunch of noise cancellation and stuff, so you don't hear me clicking on my tablet. Now, for today, I was looking at the picture, and I decided that my branches have too much contrast. So I was gonna see if I could do a thing where I just kinda use this to lower the contrast without me having to do a bunch of work. Ah, I see. Well, I suppose it is nice to have free time. Anywho, so this is one thought I had to try to reduce the contrast over here. We'll see if it works out. I have some other tricks up my sleeve if I don't quite like this. But I think this is doing pretty okay. I think I'll still keep some high contrast spots, maybe. I'll probably do some experimentation with it. Yeah, sure. Let's go do that and see if I like it. I'll just fill in a couple. So it sounds like everything is going pretty well for you then, Luminance, huh? If you are able to enjoy more free time for a while. Oh, thank you. I like them quite a lot. It took an eternity to draw them, but I do like them. So, what have you been up to? Alright, I'm gonna grab a couple more just to make sure I have plenty of variety here. Yeah, thanks. I like them a lot. Okay, let's see. How is this? Honestly, I do think that is about right. Let me... It's just that this is a background spot, and I don't really want it to draw a lot of attention to itself. So I just thought what I had before was a little bit too strong. But I think this moderated it quite nicely, so let me go ahead and darken my flower shadows, and then I'll just merge this down, so this way I don't have this random extra layer out in there. I just have to remember which ones are actually shadow spots. But fortunately, I think I can just do anywhere near a flower and it'll be fine. Even if it's not exactly the same as what I had before. And I mean, I could also go check if I really wanted to, but, you know, it's fine. Long as it looks okay, it's fine. Let's see. Where are the spots I want to fill in down here? Down here doesn't have quite as many. And I do think I will fill in this part too. Just make it a little bit darker, right around where the branches cross over each other. So with any luck, this will be the last time I have to go around. And then I can just go back to working on the character again. I have been looking forward to doing that. I've been looking forward to just going back and making some small adjustments to her face and then, I don't know, continuing where I left off. Should probably be the fan. Yeah, I think the fan is probably going to be next. Getting everything straight in my head while I'm doing very easy things like rendering. Just because this part, a little bit brain dead. I can just kind of turn off my brain and everything will be fine. I just coloring within lines I've already made, so I don't really have to think about it that hard. So my brain just has lots of room to roam around and think about random things. Just because it doesn't have to focus very strongly on what it's doing now. But it's alright. Looks like I am already almost all the way around. Getting to the second symmetrical area here. Yep. I think right up here is where it starts getting all symmetrical and stuff. So, turn on the symmetry tool and start filling things in like that. Alright, yeah, I think that's it there. Sure is. Okay. So now just gotta fill in the rest up here and should be good. Once again, I ask myself why I drew so many flowers. I know the answer, but I still ask myself often. They are just way too nice to not draw. Alright, and with this, I should have the low contrasted areas I want to be low contrast and a little bit higher around the flowers to, I don't know, make them extra shiny. Alright, there we go. March it down so I'm committed. Okay. So around her face, I liked most of what I drew, but I think I drew her nose upside down, actually. And that has been bothering me for a little bit, but I have resisted the urge to go fix it. Strictly speaking, I suppose I did not have to resist it, but it's okay. I wanted to finish the area that I was working on, and I also wasn't feeling good last week, so I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work on anything too important, but yeah, I think I drew this triangle upside down. So let me see if it looks better this way. I'm definitely gonna make it softer. What exactly? Okay, so this is just some residue from that. Alright, so let's see if I like this better. So like that, or like that. Yeah, this is definitely better once I make it softer. Just gonna round those corners a little bit. But it just makes more sense with how I drew the highlight. They should be kind of lining up with each other. Now I just make it nice and soft. Nice and soft. And then I go back, putting the nice little outline around it. And I think I'll go ahead and add a little highlight to the top of her nose, too. Alright, there we go. Am I still bothered by her lips? I am. So I just want to kind of shave off a little bit right there. I'm also not sure what that is. That's just definitely not just a hole because this isn't clipped. I guess it could still be a hole. Let me see if I can just fill it in. Okay, yeah, that's all it was. Just a little bit of residue there. Okay. I think that's all I need to do there. And then finally, I wanted to add a few gradients around her hat. So I will go ahead and select it. And do all the little things that make it nice and easy for me to add the gradients I like. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab a dark blue color. It's fine. It'll look okay. And then I just want to add a few dark spots along the bottom. Huh. You are not structured the way I thought you were. Why are you looking... Oh, because I have an eraser. Oh yeah, that would do it. Okay, there we go. I must have been using my soft eraser for something at one point. Because Krita's cool. It lets you turn any brush into an eraser. And so when I need a really, really soft eraser for things, I like to use the airbrush as an eraser. It works really, really well. I think I'll do the same on the hat itself. Just right there. Grow it out, and then I want to put a little highlight. Just up here. Might actually make more sense to switch these, but nah, I think it's fine the way it is. Actually, I think I'm going to revisit the hat decoration just one last time. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of light over here where, in theory, it should be hitting. Just to kind of make it shine a little bit more. I don't know if this is actually going to be the final location of... No, I definitely don't want to draw on that layer. No, don't draw on the line. There we go. So I don't know if this is going to be the final location of the fan just yet, just because I will be tweaking it a little bit here. Actually, before I do anything else, I think I'm going to make that purple again. There we go. Do her eyes look sad? I'm going to double check that as well. I don't think they look sad, but I didn't put a gradient on her sclera, did I? Maybe they look a little bit sad. That's right, I remembered I determined that what was making her look sad was something with how I did the lines and the eyelashes. So I should fix those real quick too, but more importantly, I just realized that I did not do any dark colors on the sclera there, and I want to. So let's go ahead and I'll just grab a nice light purple today. Just keep things nice and simple. That seems like a fine color. And I'll just brush a little bit of darkness through there. Just near the top. I also did not put any lines around it. I think I should do that too. And then one thing I was thinking about trying for her skin and certain parts of her eyes is I wanted to add like a little bit of extra redness around the shadows. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the loudest red I can, and I'm going to go ahead and try it. I just want to see what it looks like. I need a very light touch for this, because I mean, you can see this is an extremely loud red. In theory, maybe. I'm gonna put the layer on overlay and see if that helps. No, I don't like it as much on overlay. Maybe hard light. I mean, obviously that's way too intense. I probably won't do this with every part of her, but I've been wanting to try stuff like this around faces, just to give them a little bit more color and potentially make them a little bit more interesting. I've seen people use it to great effect, but I have not been one of those people. And it just may not work with this particular style very well. I don't know if I like it. Yeah, I don't think I do. Okay. Because in real life, especially around skin, you kind of get that a super highly saturated highlight between the light areas and the shadow areas on skin. So I have seen people use it to great effect, but I just have never been able to find a color that I like to do it with. And I don't really know why, but I've just never been able to get it to work for me, and every time I try it just looks terrible, and I end up clearing it much like I just did. I'll try one more time. This time I'll do a normal layer with a little bit less of an intense color. But I don't know, maybe just because I always do it quickly since I'm just kind of experimenting, but nah, I don't like it here. I don't like it here. Maybe just a little bit more red around the nose. Nah, it looked better before. Okay. I guess her face is fine. Let's go back over to the fan. So for the fan, I think I actually will hide the foreground for just a little bit, just so I can kind of get the overall shape of it right. This is something that I do fairly often, where I just hide some of the stuff above it. I'm not going to worry about getting the top like super clean or anything, but I do want to make sure that it's accurate, and it's just easier to do that when I can see the whole thing. So like here, I think that this looks pretty good. But this one didn't look like it was quite in the right place. This one looks like it's way too far out. And you can see that as I go through, they get closer and closer together. And that's because I want to make it look like it's twisting. Like this part is further in the background than this part. And that kind of perspective is important when I want to make it look like it's going further into the back. And the fact that this part is so much larger than the two that are supposed to be further in front, it don't make much sense. It is counterproductive to what I'm actually trying to accomplish. So I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. Just to give me a little bit more room. And then all of this just kind of has to come in. All of it. And this part can kind of come out a little bit. This part shouldn't be that much smaller than this guy, so I've got a lot of room to push him around. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty okay, I think. And then I'll clean up the edges and stuff. But at some point, I want to put a pattern on this fan. I just haven't done it yet. There's not much point until I'm ready to kind of bring it into its final form. Which is soon. So, once I get the overall shape right, and I'm satisfied with the little sticks coming out of it, and just all that stuff, I will indeed start putting the pattern on it. And man, I gotta say, I am so grateful for the liquefy tool. I abuse the heck out of it, I swear. But it makes my life so much easier. It kind of lets me sculpt my structures instead of just having to draw them accurately every time. And oh man, do I find sculpting these things to be a lot easier than just drawing them accurately the first time. I try not to look at the sticks in order to determine the accuracy of the rest of the parts of the fan. Just because I get the feeling the sticks will be changing a little bit. They were very much necessary to put in so that this way I could, start drawing her hand properly and some of these other things. But now some things about the fan are changing and I need to change the other things around it. I shouldn't let myself get stuck in what I drew before. If I feel like it is inaccurate, it needs to be changed. Do not get too attached to the things that you make. Sometimes they have to die. And those sticks will probably die for the sake of the final picture. It'll be worth it. Don't worry about it. And then periodically I just end my transformation and open up the liquefy tool immediately again. That just means that if I make a mistake, I can revert, and trying to do everything all in one go can be hard. So it's nice to have a state that I can revert to if things go wrong. It actually really is. I remember the other day, I've still been struggling with trying to remember how faces work in my semi-realism attempts. I'm really glad that I decided to attempt another semi-realism piece, because You know, not this one, obviously. This is not semi-realism. Not at all. But the drawing that I'm doing off stream. Just because I feel like that I have forgotten so much of the stuff that I knew how to do with that particular style. So I'm glad I attempted it again. So this way I don't lose it completely. But yeah, I messed up so hard there that I really was just like, you know, I liked what I had better before, so I'm just gonna go revert to the previous save. And so I did. Killed about an hour and a half of work on that, but it just looked really bad. So it was worth it. So what I'm doing there with just occasionally ending the transformation is a less extreme version of that. Where I just kind of give myself a quick point that I can go back to if I don't like some of the transformations that I do. Liquify tool is powerful, but with great power comes, unfortunately, lots of ways to mess up. Alright, there we go. That's looking a bit better. I do want to adjust the shape just a little, though. I need to make it very swooshy. Really want to make it look like she's swinging it hard. Hard, but gracefully. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. I'm gonna flip just to make sure that I still like it. Yep, looks pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna go turn the foreground back on. And now I know exactly where I need to render and clean all this up. Okay. I'm gonna hide her hat because I want to make sure that this edge is nice and clean. And once it is, and I know for a fact that I am 100% happy with the fan's location, I'm gonna go add a gradient to her hat to represent the shadow cast by the fan. Just gonna be a simple gradient. And here specifically, I want to make sure that there's a little bit of space between that petal. Basically, either with this, I should make it larger so that it's firmly underneath it, or I should make it a little bit smaller so that this way it is firmly away from that edge. And the reason for that is if you put the edge of another object too close to the edge of another one, it does two things that are kind of bad. First is it just makes it kind of uncomfortable. Like the best way I can describe that, or if you like, I don't know, made it this way your character's elbow is like right up against the edge of the screen, like say like right there, or something else like that. It's just strangely uncomfortable. It feels cramped and it feels strange. So in that case, you know, you can just either put your character's elbow in frame a little bit more, or you can just have it straight up go off the screen. Just as long as it's not rubbing right up against the edge. It won't feel uncomfortable then. And then the other thing is it creates what's called a tangent. And in this case, it wouldn't be that bad, but it would still reduce the clarity in which object is which. Where the flower ends and where it begins. So in this case, you know, it's just better to give them a little bit of breathing room. Everyone likes having a little bit of personal space, right? It's the same for your art. Everyone needs a bit of personal space. Some tangents can be pretty funny, though. I still remember in a image I saw trying to explain what they were. Just thinking about it makes me kind of laugh. But it showed a guy in a barn. And the guy was wearing a hat. And where the hat ended and where the barn began was like the same line. So it just made his hat look super duper long. and that was pretty funny. I don't know, maybe I'll try to find it and I'll go post it on Twitter or something. But it was just such a fantastic illustration of how things can go wrong even if you're drawing accurately, and why composition matters more than accuracy. I always talk about stuff like that a lot, and I think a lot of that is just due to my early history as someone that was more focused on realism. Something that I'm still working on, where I just kind of have to tell myself, you know, it's okay. You gotta be cool, not real. But I mean, these rules still apply to people that are doing realism too, of course, but at least for me, when I was a baby artist, I was really obsessed with getting things right, doing things correctly. And actually, even before I was doing realism, I was effectively collaging. So I'd take images and just edit them heavily in Photoshop to look more like my characters. And that's basically how I got started. So once I was determined to learn how to draw, I wanted to actually know how to draw things. It sounds weird to say, but I was very determined not to use like any other particular tools because I consider that cheating. And so the only thing that I allowed myself to use were like round brushes, default brushes in Photoshop, and that kind of thing. And I think that even that kind of holds over in my current skill set, because I just don't really use brushes. I just don't. I never really bothered to learn how. Because in my early days, I wanted to know how to draw everything by myself, which, for me at the time, meant no brushes. And then because I learned how to draw everything by myself, and I got really good with just basic brushes, and I just got used to them, and it got to the point where using other brushes often felt weird, I just never really learned how to do it. Part of me wants to now, just as a way to save time, but yes. For me, learning how to draw was basically learning how to not use Photoshop tools. And I do think it's funny how all those little things can really shape where your art goes and the skills that you gain. Because it's like legit. I mean, I still feel some of those early things I believed in my current processes. Because ultimately, I learned how to draw based on those beliefs. And some things I'm needing to unlearn, and some things I'm just like, ah, yes, that's why I do it like that. That's cool. And you know, talking about that was completely unintentional when I was talking about cheating using digital tools in my title. Just in more polite words. But my younger self unironically thought that properly using a lot of digital tools was cheating. And actually, now that I think about it, some of that may not have been due to just really wanting to learn how to draw things. Some of it might have also been from some of the other artists around me. Like, when I was just kind of doodling around in high school and stuff, I remember it's one of my early, very distinct art memories of my high school art teacher really disliking anime and anything digital. This was an extremely common belief back in that time, because you have to remember, this was a long time ago. Digital tools were actually very new then. And people were starting to leverage them a bit more often. And Photoshop was just kind of starting to be viewed as something more than just a photo editing tool. And oh man, I'm trying to remember when the first version of Coral Painter came out. Oh, man, I remember when I was on the internet and just getting interested in stuff. I think it was on like its 4th version or something. I can't remember. But yes, digital tools were becoming more common, and people viewed them, you know, not too dissimilar from how people talk about AI now. Just cheating. Why would you do that when you could actually learn how to paint? And it's like, I know it's harder, but you know, that just makes learning how to do it more satisfying. Why would you completely do it like this when you could actually learn how to do it like this and have the satisfaction of doing things for yourself and all that stuff? A lot of the comments were extremely similar. And I probably internalized a lot of that. And thus did my best to try to not, quote-unquote, cheat. It's not cheating, guys. There's nothing wrong with using your tools. Nothing. People get weird. Let's see. I need this one to be thinner than this one. Yeah, the width I have down is about right. Okay, so I should not make this any thicker than it currently is. It's kind of funny looking back and thinking about all that, because I mean, from the beginning, I was always super sold on digital. I loved digital as a medium right from the get-go, the second I got started. But it's not surprising to me. I've always loved computers. That's why I'm a programmer. Computers are great. They can do so many cool things. So let's see, where exactly... I'm gonna hide the sticks just so that this way they don't confuse me. We'll go ahead and hide her hand too. At least the thumb. Okay. So, this bottom part here, this actually needs to go more like this. Probably a little higher than that, actually. There we go. Let's clean that up. Now I feel like this is too thick. So that does mean that I need the shadow part here to come just a little bit further this way. And now I can have it go from here. And this white part needs to come a little further this way so that this way I can have it come back up. Little more. Really shouldn't be doing this zoomed in, but I'm gonna keep doing that, so. just because I shouldn't doesn't mean I'm not going to. I don't really feel like zooming back out. Okay, but that should be fine. Right? Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay. I might need to move some stuff around a little bit more, but it's fine. I can do that. Because digital is awesome. Digital is awesome. And the people that say that digital is cheating are just jealous of all the cool stuff we can do. Alright, let's see here. I'm gonna kind of adjust the thickness of each pleat of the fan again. Because unfortunately I kind of have to. Because I just changed a bunch of things and now I have to change a bunch of things. Changed a bunch of things, so I have to change a bunch of things that are affected by the things I changed. It's fine. The important thing is just that each pleat of the fan gets a little bit thinner as I go down. Pleat is such a funny word. Sounds more like something a sheep would do than something you'd put on a dress. But here we are. Language is a mysterious thing. It does what it wants. Okay, and then I kind of have to figure out how I'm going to do this bottom part. I just put all of it in shadow, which is probably fine. It'll be separated a little bit more properly once I put the lines in, I think. Gonna kind of have to figure out how I want to do that. Alright, this one should definitely be smaller than it currently is. Got a cough. My voice may be back, but my allergies are still here too. Sometimes they like to come in and say hello and remind me that they're still there. And I'm like, don't worry, I could not possibly forget. Wish I could, but I cannot. They will not allow for it. Allergies are just extremely rude. Inviting themselves in and refusing to leave. Tell my brain to chill out, but that's never worked, so. I guess it's not my brain making the decision to have allergies, it's the rest of the body. So, okay. I forgive you. I forgive you this time, brain. This time it's not actually your fault. For once. For once. Alright, there we go. I think that should be pretty okay. Guess I want to show a little bit more of this part here. Just a little bit though. That part's gonna be pretty thin. It's gonna go way far into the back. Yeah, there we go. Something like this. Seems good to me. Now I just gotta get all the curves looking good. And then I can go back in and start rendering up properly. And gotta say, she looks pretty funny without her hat on. Everything over here just nicely rendered, almost complete. And then you got this. The parts that I didn't do, because why would I? Not animating this, so I don't have to care about anything underneath. I can leave the voids as voids. They do not have to be filled. I think the next picture I do will be animated, though. That sounds pretty cool. Normally I've been doing my animations in Inochi 2D, but I think I might try the next one in OpenTunes. Just to see what kind of tools it gives me. Because I am curious. Alright, let's get these guys nice and round. That's another thing that's probably not accurate, but it looks really cool. And it makes things look so flowy, and like everything is nice and spinny, and all that good stuff. So yes, we're making things extra round. I enjoy making things round. Circles are great. Alright. So in this mass over here, I do think that this one specifically, should show all the way down. But this one can be, this one can just all be blue. And it should read fine once I put the lines in. If I wasn't adding those outlines, the white outlines that I'm putting on everything, I'd probably add a darker color over here too. But I am doing that, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm pretty sure it'll work out once I get that far. Gotta trust myself. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to trust myself when if it doesn't work out, I can just go, well, that didn't work, let's do something else. At no cost. This digital is awesome. I do appreciate that digital just lets me have raw chaos in everything I draw. I get to try things for as long as I want. Let me see. Do I have this angle right? Because all of them are kind of going upward. And this one is like... not. You are just not. So I should at least let you go a little upward like the rest. The perspective will be all wonky otherwise. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. And I do think I will tuck this in a little bit more, though. Go ahead and just kind of come back there a little bit. There we go. Nice and tiny. This is just a tiny little guy. Not gonna see much of him because he's just so far back behind everyone else that we only see the slightest sliver of him poking out. Alright, then once I kind of get all this shaped correctly, I think it'll be time to look at the pattern on her fan. So I'll have to go back to my official source references and all that. Okay, and I think that should be good. Let's go ahead and make that just a little bit nicer looking. Okay. I think that's a good shape. Let's get the shapes on the bottom here. I was gonna zoom in, but I changed my mind. So I just want to follow the light and shadow parts that I drew and do something nice like this. I'll worry about getting it perfectly clean once I do zoom in. This is just kinda making sure that things look pretty okay. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go like all the way. There we go. And then I just want to give a tiny little indication here that it's still doing that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Should be able to attach text to that nicely. Alright, I think this is where I'm actually going to go look at the reference image that I have and count the number of pleats on her fan. Unclear. Okay, so I can do what I want, basically. And I see that the pattern on it just looks like the title screen from Perfect Cherry Blossom. So I'll instead kind of use the pattern that was on her spell cards from Perfect Cherry Blossom instead of the one from Immaterial and Missing Power. Because it looks like it was kind of copied anyway. Okay, I can do that. I'm still going to keep it more white rather than black like it is there just because I think it looks better with this composition. The black was just really strong when I tried it before. If any of you remember what this image looked like at the very beginning, I did indeed have a black fan, but I just thought it looked kind of bad compositionally. So I'll stick with the white ones. She had white fans in her default sprite in Immaterial and Missing Power anyway, so it makes sense. It's only in her portraits that it was black. And besides, this is Touhou. I can draw what I want. And I just wanted to add a little shadow there for some thickness on the side. I think this one still looks pretty alright. Gonna clean up just right through here, but I think it looks pretty alright. I can't do this zoomed in like that. This is a curve. I need to swoop. There we go. Just wanted to be quiet while I got that stroke right. Even then, I didn't completely get it right, but that's fine. I'll just correct those kind of couple areas that I don't like. Which is mostly right through there. The rest looks fine. Alright. Time to swoop across the next one. Just gonna be kind of quiet for these because I want to have very precise control over how I'm moving my brush here. And thus, I need to focus. You can see I messed it up at the end there because I was talking. And also because the top right there wasn't quite right. Hello, Yeti Kitty. Okay. Before I go to the rest, I do think I have to zoom in and make sure that these lines are nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Because yeah, they're still a little bit choppy. They're just a little bit choppy here. But fortunately, once I get them all nice and smoothed out, that should be fine. Let's see here. Congrats. I actually think right here is a little bit choppy too. So let's smooth that out nicely, and that's all looking pretty good, very fan-like. I'm going to continue up the outer edge here. This might also be one where it makes more sense to zoom out, but here I am. I don't like how thick that is, though. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out and try to pay very careful attention to this. Very, very careful attention. Okay, I think that's a good overall shape. I just kind of want to get rid of the harsh edges here, because there are a couple. There we go. I think that is pretty good. Well, I guess you better go fix it. Okay, yeah, that looks nice and smooth now, so now I'm gonna head back up here and smooth out everything up here. Congrats. Oh, where are you going? I see. Well, I hope you have a good trip. I imagine so. That is a lot of suitcases. It's okay. It's good to be prepared. All right. There we go. I think I got the outer edges good. So now I just kind of got a swoop across and smooth out all of the interior parts here. Make sure that everything is connecting where it should and that everything is nice and smooth. And nice and round. Definitely got to be nice and round. I'm sure your parents have it under control. Should be fine. Man, I just cannot get this part sufficiently round in a way that makes me happy. Nice. Mine is too. Yep, it's okay. Someday you'll be able to learn how to do it too. You'll be able to go off and do things. I never particularly wanted to learn how to drive. It became somewhat of a necessity at one point, but I don't drive very often. Yep. That is indeed how age works. Alright, man, but this curve is not cooperating with me. I don't know, maybe I should just zoom in and gradually start doing it. I don't know, this is working. It's just taking me more strokes than I like because I'm clumsy. And I have a hard time controlling my hands well enough to really get those kinds of things smooth. That's part of why it takes me a little while to do all this. And why when I do lines, I kind of cheat a little bit and use the edge that I drew earlier to kind of help me out. Okay, but there we go. It's coming together. Nice. What's the course about? I see. Okay. That makes sense. Are there going to be other students there? Because if there are, you should consider saying hello. Maybe they can, you can help each other with some of your studies. Just trust me. Telling other people or explaining something to other people is a great way to learn stuff yourself. It makes you think about the material in a way that you never would have otherwise. So if you really, really want to get good at the stuff that you're learning in those courses, try explaining it to any of your classmates that need help. It'll help you out a lot. Okay, this is gonna be interesting, because this one is kind of thick. Actually, I think this one is thin. Yeah, I think it is, actually. Let me make you rounder. You need to be rounder. Nice! It's a good way to be. I think it's good to try to make friends with people you kind of have to be around. Maybe you can find some people that you like being around. But even be around them when you don't have to be. Yeah, that already looks a lot better now that I've thickened up this line here. It got a little bit too thin in the middle there. I call it a line, but I guess it'd be more accurate to call it a shadow. Yes, thickened up this shadow. Looks much better like this. And actually, now that I look at it, I think I'm going to make this one a little bit thicker too. There we go. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. All right. Now I just got these couple almost there. I think it's looking pretty nice, and then I can make the sticks look pretty nice too. But I am quite happy with how it's turning out. I'm spending a little bit of extra time getting all of this just right because, I mean, it's way out in the foreground. It's not hiding behind anything, and I think it's in a super noticeable spot. So I just want to make sure that it looks nice and that it will not distract people. And they're out here looking at things. Because when something feels kind of wrong, it's hard to describe, but you can tell. You can tell when something feels a little bit off. So I just want to make sure that doesn't happen. If something feels off, it's going to be distracting. But like, for example, this arm back here, he's gonna be cleaner than this, but probably not much. I'm not gonna be quite as focused on getting that looking like super duper fancy or anything. Because I mean, he's just there in the back. Nobody's really gonna look. I just need to get it good enough that nobody will feel like they have to look. It'll be there for atmosphere. But this, I mean, this part's just way out there, so I gotta spend the extra time making sure that it's all nice and smooth. It's important. Alright, this part is nice and thin, and I think that looks pretty good. So I guess there's just this last one now. And I think everything will be perfect here, and I can start drawing the pattern. That's gonna be interesting. I don't know what color I want it to be yet, so I guess I'll just make it a solid black for now. That definitely will not be its final color, but for now it's fine. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now then. No, I'm gonna do the sticks first. Okay. I knew I was forgetting something. So those... You know what? I'm just gonna start over. Alright. So, I got sticks. I'm gonna use the line tool. I think that'll make my life a little bit easier. This will keep them relatively straight, and I can cut off the parts that need to be... or like the ends. Because they'll be too round at the end. I'm just gonna do this with my mouse, so this way I don't have any pressure sensitivity or the like. Gonna get it about the same width as the pleat of the fan. I think that's good. And I'll just click down here and kind of have it follow the direction of the fan itself. Seems good. Alright, next one's obviously gonna be smaller. Yeah, that seems like a good size. I'll start it over here. And I'll bring it over here. This guy might be too thick now that I look at it. No, I know what to do for this. That means before I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of perspective here. So I think I'll make each stick on its own layer so that this way I can do it for each one, and then I'll merge them all at the end. That seems like a good idea. Gotta use those tools, man. They will make my life easier. Then I can perspective it a little bit. Okie dokie. grab the next one. I think this is a pretty good size. Just start it up here and kind of bring it out like this. Oh yeah, and this way I can even place them a little bit more easily when I don't get it completely right the first time, which is often. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And let's see, can I get the back to be just a little bit thicker here? I kind of want all of these to be close to the same size. Okay, so maybe instead of doing it with perspective, I'll do it with liquefy. This seems incredibly dangerous, but you know, it's okay. I'll make it work. Okay, let's clean that up now. Generally, well, I'd say generally I recommend against it. But I'm not your mom. You can do what you want. Well, like I said, I'm not your mom. You can do what you want. Alright, just gotta get this guy nice and smooth because he got a little bit blurry after I messed with the liquefy tool, as is common. Okay. Yeah, I think this should work out. Let's get the next one. I imagine so. Okay, so I think out here is when we're starting to get to the point that'll be firmly covered by the thumb. I actually made this a bit too long at the bottom, didn't I? That's fine. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and draw them, and I will adjust as necessary afterward. It is a time. I mean, it's different in different parts of the country because it's a very large country, land-wise. Okay. So I think before I go and start making them a little bit more consistent in size, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting off where I think the bottom should be. I don't know if I got a good spot here. I'm going to go ahead and alternate the colors here, just so I can see a little bit better. Got to invert about half of them. I don't know. That's not that unreasonable time to go to bed, in my opinion. How do I want to do this? Fans, how do they work? Okay. Well, if I'm asking that question, that means it's time to go look at a reference. Alright, fans, how do they work? I'm not too far off, but Man. Art is hard. I'm trying to find one similar to the one that I did. Okay, I think I got it. So this one will be on top. Maybe I should make them a little bit closer to the same width first. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go and undo my inversions. I just gotta draw things. Okay. Oh, and I got rid of my shadow color. That's fine. I just picked it from over there anyway. Alright. So, I was planning on doing this after I kind of knew where the bottom was gonna be. But, that ain't happening, so I guess I'll do it like this. Alright. So first off, I want to get the edge of this. No, you're not supposed to be in that layer. You're supposed to be in this layer. Well, I mean, you can always go to sleep. Or don't, you know, it's up to you. Okay, so this one is going to be pretty thin. We're seeing this one mostly from the front. At least that's how I've drawn it. And actually, now that I look at it, I kind of want to curve it a little bit more. There we go. That should look a little bit nicer. I don't know, the way I drew this is like so nonsensical that it's actually going to be kind of hard to draw a rigid stick there, huh? Oh well. It's fine. I think I'll curve you a little bit more too. Honestly, you know what? That's a point. I cannot draw a rigid stick there, so I should not try. Instead, what I should draw is a very non-rigid stick. So I'll line it up here, I think, and then... Oh yeah. This should be good. We're gonna make it nonsense. We're gonna make it just as nonsense as everything else. Yeah. Oh man, that is so much better. Okay. Okay, I'm onto something here. I'll go ahead and keep the back part in there for now, I suppose. The other ones, I'm just gonna transform right now. Actually, maybe a mesh would make more sense. Yeah. I'm gonna do Liquify. Liquify is easier to control. I can just do what I want, and it's great. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this should help some of the issues I've been facing a lot. Okay, let's rotate you now. Let you follow the flow of the fan. I will probably have to adjust them somewhat after this, but I can do that. Okay, some of these I might have to start drawing the side right away because, yeah, the reason this one is so skinny is just because we're going to see mostly the side of it. That's fine. I'll just let it follow the flow of the fan first. It's fine. Try to give it a little bit more thickness near the back, though. I was hoping that using the line tool would meant that I wouldn't have to do quite as much cleaning, but it was not meant to be, so... It'll be fine. Alright, one last one. Alright, let's get him nice and following the general flow here. Once again, this is way more important than being like perfectly accurate, I think. I think it'll actually even look more accurate since the fan is nonsensical too. You gotta make the bottom just as nonsensical. Okay, and yep, that does look a little bit better. Let's start getting some of these dark parts in here. Okay, so how is this gonna work? How is this gonna work? I don't know. Hard is hard. Okay, well, I'm a wing it. I'm a wing it. Hope it works out for me. There we go. And I think this will get me to where I want to go. It might take a couple of tries. But I think that the idea in my head is right. Basically, I'm just going to let the dark part here get a little bit thicker with each one. And that should hopefully make them all look like they're the same thickness once it's all done. You know, in theory. In theory. This part should be pretty thick. And I guess I should say that they're going to get thicker relative to the blue part. As they go through, they should still get a little bit thinner. Just because the sticks are supposed to be kind of receding into the background. It's just, right now, they're so exaggeratedly small that it looks kind of absurd. But I'll see what it looks like after I do the last one here, and hopefully I am a step closer to some pretty sticks. Another case of, I don't know if it's accurate, but I gotta reverse these. Can I just do that like this? I don't think so. Unfortunate. Alright. So this one's gonna go on top. This one's next. This one's next. This one's next. Okay, it's not so bad. Look, sometimes my brain is just like, oh man, I know I gotta do something, but I don't immediately know how to do it. What do I do? Okay, now I just got to get them to cross all at the right place. Once again, I think I'm gonna do some alternating color inversion, just so I can see where everything is. Oops, no, not you. You. Perfect. Okay. Ah, the joy of only lightly sketching things out and then having to go through and be like, okay, I have to finish this now, so I actually kind of have to understand what's going on. Oh no. How could this happen? Understanding what's going on so I can draw it right. My true arch nemesis. Why can't everything just be as messy and nebulous as they are in my brain and still look good? Oh, oops. I meant to go here. Yeah, there we go. I forgot that I reversed the order that they all go in for a second. Okay, and then I don't know. I still think that guy is not in a great spot. Okay, and yeah, and I should just leave them curved. Funny, my initial thought was that they'd be more, what's the word, flat at the bottom. But I do not actually think that is true. I do think that leaving them curved makes more sense. And what the heck are you? Foreground's already off, so it's not that. Maybe some residue from the fan? You are some residue from the fan. Well, I can't have that there. No good at all. Alright. So now I actually have to make this look good. Wish me luck. I think I'll need it. It's okay, I got this. Honestly, it's days like this where I'm just flailing with drawing a thing that I'm always super impressed by these people that can just finish an entire image in like 4 hours. I'm just like, how? And not have it be like speed paint quality, but actually like really nice. I'm just like, how? How do you do it? It's like magic. I am still working on acquiring the skill. So I'm doing my best. Alright, I think that's looking okay. So let's get the lighter side now. And I have no idea what kind of texture to give this. I guess I'll still make it look like wood. Just because I don't know what else to do. Because I'm pretty sure her fan is not supposed to be like plastic or anything. So it makes sense that it'd be like painted wood, I guess. So I guess I'll Put a wood texture on it and then make it shiny. Yeah, that sounds nice. That sounds pretty nice. Alright. Next one. This one gets to be funny because I need to... The dark part is going to be light since the colors are inverted. Actually, I do think that I will hide the layers on top as I go down. Just so I can make sure that the sticks connect properly. I think... Wait, was I drawing at the circle? Well, shoot. I shouldn't do that. Wait, then... How are you becoming yellow? I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. I need to update Krita. I'm still hopeful that maybe that's fixed. Yet I keep not doing it. I just... Basically, after stream, I always go through and think about how the stream went, what went well, what didn't, and just all usual things you do. Or at least things I do when I'm trying to improve at something. And then I get distracted and I don't update my things. And I go through and do a few other post-stream things, like for art streams, I like to pick a thumbnail from the stream. And it takes a while for YouTube to generate the thumbnail, so I pick the thumbnail for yesterday's stream when applicable. And that kind of thing. Okay, I was gonna say, wait, why didn't I finish that part of the hair? And I'm just like, oh yeah, I have the hat turned off. I forgot. I wouldn't say that kind of thing happens to me a lot, but it does happen sometimes, and I always feel very silly. Every time. Like, oh yeah, I did something. I do things sometimes. Nice. Actually, you know what? Before I go any further with this, I want to do her hand. I want to make sure that her hand is properly holding this fan, and I want to know which parts of the fan I should actually care about. Because I realized that I was taking a long time doing this, and I remembered that most of this is going to be covered up by her thumb. And I do feel like what I have here is accurate. Like, I like the way it looks. Yeah, the thumb at least. The rest of her hand, I think, needs to curve up with her fan a bit more. Match the energy. But the thumb itself, I think, is okay. Maybe I'll rotate it just a little bit more. Do I want it to rotate up or do I want it to rotate down? Or down, I think. I want it to be firmly across where, like, all the sticks connect to each other. That makes sense to me. Okay. And I'm glad that I did, because I realized through all this that I actually want the sticks to be a little bit shorter. Kinda. Yeah. Put some more extreme perspective on him. Oh, that just a bit. Yeah, something like that. I think that makes sense. I approve. Okay, let's render her thumb. And then I'll worry about making all the sticks look nice. Yeah, I was thinking today, oh yeah, we should just finish the fan. Or maybe not finish, but at least get pretty far. And I forgot that, yes, I should draw her thumb nicely. I'm gonna hide the back of her hand for a moment, just so that this way I don't get the fleshy part of her thumb confused with it. Before I do the bottom, I'm gonna want to turn it back on. But for this part, I'm gonna leave it off. Just so I can see a little bit more clearly. I'm actually gonna hide all my sticks, too. And just worry about the shape of this thumb and put as few distractions around it as possible. Makes it a little bit easier to see and a little bit easier to get nice and smooth. Okay, that's good. Let's go do her thumbnail. I don't think Yuyuko wears nail polish in canon, but I thought making her nail pink was super cute, so I did it anyway. Like I said, this is Touhou. I can do what I want. I can do whatever I want. So I will do the cute thing. And she has kind of a mature vibe, so nail polish works for her, I think. Okay, not sure what happened there, but here we go. Let's see, I think this is a color I stole from her either hair or eyes. Probably eyes then. Okay, so I'll just use the eyeshadow color, and I'll put a little shadow on it. Just right here. I might need to make this less contrasty, but I can figure that out later. I don't know, does that look good? Yeah, I think that's fine. Give it a little highlight too. Oop. Polished nails should be very shiny. Very important. Alright, let's turn her hand back on. So now I can make sure that her arm and fingers and everything are all properly connected to each other. I want the pinky to be in a better spot now that I look at it. It's like the exact mechanics of her hand aren't really that important here. Just because, well, I mean, we don't really see them. They are hiding behind the fan. But I should have a general gist of where they're going, because that'll affect how the rest of the hand is drawn. If you ever find yourself having trouble with something, make sure you draw the parts that you can't see too. The parts that are covered up by other things. It'll help, trust me. It'll make your life a lot easier. Alright, and, you know, this is going to be another area that's largely covered. So I'm not going to spend too much time getting it perfect. But I just want to make sure that it connects to the thumb nicely and that the parts that do show look good. Okay, and I also want a bit of a stronger shadow underneath the thumb itself here. Kind of like that. Just so that we have an easier time seeing where the thumb begins and her hand ends. I like that. No, I don't. Okay. Questions I have to ask myself. But you know, it's important to ask the question. Even if the answer is no, now I know for sure that what I was trying to do there, not good. And I think that's important to know too. I think I'm over-exaggerating that part. Yeah, I need to make this... There's like a small dent in your wrist where it connects to the arm here. And I want to make that known, but I was making it, like, way too denty. Well, the dent is just way too big. So I needed to tone it back. In this part, I made it way too fleshy. That side is very bony. Alright, and before I move on and start getting her fingers, I'm going to go ahead and finish the arm, just because the arm is going to be quick and easy. Does it attach to the hand, and is it smooth? Yep, we're good. All done. Let me make sure that this pinky is attached properly here. Make sure it has some nice spinny energy. I don't think I'll put any additional shadows between her fingers or anything. For the back, this is fine. I just want to give them some nice spinny energy. And they will all have a gap, even if they don't necessarily need one. And even if I was showing the fingers, like if I was showing the fingers, I'd probably have them overlap more. And I just put in additional shadows and stuff. But given that these ones are mostly hidden, I think they read better with a gap between them. I think that they will look more like fingers if I do it like this, rather than what is strictly accurate. And that is more important. Okay, so now I will attach her palm to her thumb there, and there we go. I think that is all I need to do for the hand. So, oh, I lied. That's right. This part is not part of the thumb. The thumb I already had smoothed out, so... that area was something else, and thus needed to be cleaned. Okay, so let's finish making this thumb look nice. Already got a nice little nail there. And it's all ready to go. Just need to finalize its shapes. Alright, I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and make the shadow here look nice. And there we go. I think that's fine. Yep, looks fine to me. Let's see, do I do lines now? Yeah, sure. I'll do lines now. Let's see, do I have the hand in its own group? I don't. Okay, I won't do that then. I'll just make a different group for each of them. Alright, let's go ahead and get that painted there. And the nail, I will use, I guess, the color from her eyes. Do that. At least on the outside here. Like, I might use this one instead of this one, but I guess I'll see when the time comes. This one I want to be nice and thick and juicy. Gonna be a big line. And I think I'll do the ones in the back a little bit thinner, but the same color. I think that will give me the effect that I want. Okie dokie. Now I will do a slightly thinner one for the shadow. I don't think my shadow outline needs to be super thick and juicy like the rest. So I will keep this one a little bit more basic. Just like that. There we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty nice. Let's get that thumbnail. Like I said, I think I will use this lighter spot from the eye. Or maybe I'll use the one from the hair. Just because I feel like the red one here is a little bit too dark. So yeah, I'll go ahead and use the color from the hair. Getting a lot of mileage out of that color. Hehe. Yeah, it doesn't work for the highlight, so I'll just leave it like that. Go ahead and correct the shadow, and there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let's go get the hand. So for that, I'll want the one on the skin. And I'll just go in and get this guy a noticeable but a little bit thinner outline than what I put on the thumb. And I will go around. Oh, you are not drawn like that, huh? I see. Okay. I'll do my best, and then I'll go back and edit things as necessary. Basically, this part is just part of the thumb layer. And I need to put this part of the line on the thumb layer if I want it to exist like this. Which I do, so I'll have to go back to the thumb layer once I have the rest. Alright, there we go. There's most of the fingers there. This one here got kind of messy, but, you know, it's fine. My finger dexterity is just apparently especially bad today, which happens. I mean, there's been some days where I feel like I'm super on point, but man, this ain't one of them. It really isn't. Okay, sometimes my hand cooperates with me better on some days than others. Those days where it's going well, it's like, wonderful. I better draw a lot today. Like yesterday went really well, I thought. That's why I was like, yep, we're gonna finish the branch today. Okay, let's go ahead and get the spot on the thumb here. This should make the hand come a little further forward, which I think will be nice. And that's right. I need to put a little guy on the shadow here. Just a little guy. Don't want that one to be too thick. Alright, there we go. That's a hand. Back to sticks. Okay. Well, let's see here. Yeah, it's like I figured I'd do the whole fan because it's on top, but it's like, no, it's not, because the thumb is on top of part of the fan. So it only makes sense to do that part, and now I can clean up the thumb layer and make sure that only the parts that I want to be on top of the fan is there. How exactly is this going to work anyway? Yeah, I guess that's right. It kind of feels like it's still on the fleshy part of her thumb. Maybe I do something like that. Seems good to me. I'll just go ahead and perfect the line there. Perfect. Okay. And now it looks like it's in her hand, and I get to ignore all the parts that were giving me trouble. The real reason I wanted to draw the thumb. But hooray! I get to have an easier time now. And I don't have to go and hide all the sticks and stuff. I can just draw them now. Draw normally. Novel concept. I don't know. This part's a little choppy on the side, isn't it? Yeah, I guess I should actually fix that up. Yeah. Let's do that. Otherwise, it's just going to be a little bit blurry there, and that won't look very good. Not when everything else is so sharp, and especially once I put lines on it. If it's blurry, then the lines will look blurry, and disgruntled noises. I might actually start merging these together. Ooh, and I got a kind of a nasty little tangent there. I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bit shorter then. I just don't want them to be brushing up right next to each other. I think it feels a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, that looks better. That does look better. There we go. Gonna get it nice and round again. Gotta have everything be nice and round. Or applicable. Okay, and I'm gonna have to make this one a little bit shorter too. Probably like somewhere around here. No, that's a little bit too short. Here's good though. Here's good. I think right there is perfect. Just gotta round it all out, make it nice. Alright, and let's see, I gotta go blow my nose. Fortunately, the allergies have not left me, and it's really hard to talk like this. So give me like, I don't know, 2 minutes, and I'll come back and finish off the sticks here. In theory. So give me just a moment here. Alright, here we are. Oh man, I feel like I can talk again. I am always amazed by how big our nasal cavities are. It's like, man, feels like there's some non-Euclidean space going on up there, and it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Feels like every time I blow my nose, it's just a portal to the snot dimension, I swear. Anywho, gotta go and finish off the sticks here. And it feels good to actually feel like I can talk again. Before, it's like, it felt like everything was just getting caught in my throat, and I was just choking. Every time I tried to say something. It's the worst, man. Hate allergies. Why you gotta be like this, body? What did I ever do to you? That's alright. I think I still got some more art in me today. I'm actually feeling pretty good. It's like my hands aren't on point. They're pretty clumsy, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm used to it. The days where my hands feel on point are precious. They often have good ideas, but that's just because they're not good at being accurate. That's the best way I can put it. They're not always very good at this, and so sometimes they put down marks where I didn't intend. And then I look at it and I'm just like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. I'm gonna keep it. As opposed to them, you know, making sense and being good at what they're doing. They just kind of do what they want. Alright. Well, no. I was gonna say, before I invert the colors, it might make more sense to put some of the dark spots, you know, where the sticks are crossing over each other on there. But I realized that I want a slightly darker color than the dark blue that I have. So, nope, can't do that before I invert the colors again. So I'm gonna pick a nice dark color. That's perfect. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put some lines where they all overlap. And I'll do the same with where the thumb is. Put a little dark shadow there too. Continue this shadow that I have on the skin. Alright. I actually think I made this too big. Yeah, it's too big. I want it to be fairly close to where the stick that it's overlapping is, because they're supposed to be pretty close together. Actually, I think I just want a tiny dark part around the upper edge of the thumb. I think that'll look nice. I just want the thumb to go further forward. Everything about the stuff in this area is just super extreme perspective. So I want to emphasize that where I can. I think it'll look quite nice. Okay, so this is where things get tricky. This is why I felt like I needed the very dark line to begin with. Because where one stick ends and the next begins is not entirely clear. So I want to make it entirely clear. Also, you should not be peeking out from behind the fan here. You should be firmly tucked behind it. So I'm gonna very carefully just kinda erase the edge a little bit here. And there we go. Okay, and then I don't think I want like a black line, but I want a little something underneath the fan itself. Just a little something. I think that'll look pretty nice. Okay. How are we looking? I think it looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and put the lines on then. Let's see, I think I want a different line. Or a line color, rather. For both the fan and the sticks. So I will go ahead and put them in separate groups, and actually this part should all be merged together. I want all that on one layer. I mean, maybe it makes sense to do it separately, but that sounds like a pain to deal with, so I'm not gonna. All there is to it, really. Okay, there we go. My computer thought that I was double tapping for a little bit for some reason. Now, I realize now that, and I feel like I should have realized it when I was drawing that little spot on the side there, that it was just going to get covered up by the line. Oops. So that was, unnecessary. Oh well. Basically, that's how I would have drawn it in my usual cel-shaded style. Just the kind of things that I do that I feel like it adds a little bit more depth. This line I want to be pretty thick and juicy, so this is too thin. I'm gonna go back over it. Doing my best to be careful, but man, like I said, hand not on point today. It's doing its best, man. Alright, I'm gonna go around the edge first, but for this one, even the interior lines are gonna be pretty juicy. They're still gonna be pretty juicy because this isn't just separating shadows, this is separating big fan pleats. So it makes sense for them to be a little bit juicier than usual. And actually, I think at this point, I want to put the foreground back on so that this way... Yeah, I was gonna say, do I even have to line all this? I don't think I do. And indeed, I was correct. I don't. Because it's all covered up by flowers. And I know for a fact that it will be, because I do not intend to alter the flowers beyond this point. Gonna have to be careful here, though, because I realize that I'm really kind of erasing a lot of those thin pleats in the back. And I think this is okay. If I have to do some more extensive adjustments, I will. Let's see, looking at the time, I do think I will save the pattern for next time, but I do think I can at least finish lining this. And I'll make the sticks look nice and wooden. Just do the same thing that I did with the sakura branches. It's a pretty easy effect, especially when it's over such a small area, so shouldn't be an issue. Especially once I have lines to stop myself from bleeding into other parts. Alright, let's get the interior ones here. I want this one to be a little thicker. And I do think that I will make the interior lines just a little bit thinner as I go back. The outline, the outer part, I'm going to keep the same width. But I think that these guys, as I go further back, can get a little thinner. I think that'll look nice. So these two will be just as thick as the outlines. Okay, and then I'll make this one a little bit thinner. Okay, and this one, and I am locked in, so I'm gonna be quiet. Just because it's really hard to... My hand isn't doing the things today. So if I want smooth lines, I gotta focus. Okay, and a little bit thinner. And a little bit thinner. Man. God, how do people do line art? How do you guys do this all the time? Seems terrible. I joke, but I know that line art is ultimately an answer to a question. Do you want to clean your out now or later? For me, I always pick later. That's why I don't line art. But I've seen plenty of people that always like to start with clean line art. Because their answer to the question is now. And I don't blame them in the slightest. Just a difference in method, really. Okay. There we go. And now I can zoom in and fix the colors a little bit. But man. Lines. Why? I think this is probably fine, though. I was a little bit off in a few places, but I think it's okay. I also have to keep remembering that I'm going to be adding lines places, so I should leave things messy and then add the lines, and then clean up. Not clean up and then add lines. It'll probably save me a lot of effort if I do it in that order. So I'm going to try to remember that, but I will probably forget, knowing me. And it's fine. I can make it work. Okay. So that's the colors almost cleaned, and you know, I did deviate a little bit, but I do think that what I have here looks fine. So there we go. Let's go ahead and add some lines to the sticks. And actually, I think I can turn her hat back on. This way I don't have to look at the funny bald spot in her head. And she can just look cute. Alright. Oh yeah, I meant to put some lines on the arm too. I think I'll actually do that before I do the sticks. It's because I forgot. Oops, no, not transparency. I want you to group. There we go. Typo, it's fine. I shall leave the typos in for posterity. This one, I don't want it to be too thick, but I don't want it to be too thin either. It'll probably be about the size that it is, as it is on the hand. Alright, there we go. We got an arm. Nice and easy. Unfortunately, my throat is starting to reach its limit, so that is unfortunate, but I am determined to get these sticks done. So I'm gonna do it. You just gotta deal with it, throat. Alright. Before I do the lines, I don't actually have a light color picked for this color, so I gotta do that. Okay, screen, what kind of color are you gonna give me? Are you gonna give me a nice one, or do I have to pull shenanigans? Okay, looks like I got some shenanigans to pull. How about you, Color Dodge? Are you gonna give me a nice one? Nope. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna have to pick it. I can't mix it. That's fine. Send you a bit more toward yellow, so that's gonna be this way. The joy of being the complement to yellow, I can kind of send it either direction, but since I use purple for shadows, I'll send it up this way. And we'll just bring it like maybe up here. How's this? Are you gonna be a good line color? I want you to be a little lighter. How about now? You good line color? I think you were a great line color. Let's go. So these will be pretty thick, about the same thickness as the fan. Gosh, my hand is so not on point today. And I won't outline these shadows, but I will outline these ones. And I think I will... No, I won't outline the one on the thumb. I will outline this one on the thumb, but not this one. And normally I'd outline there, but it got swallowed by the line, so, you know, this is fine. This is fine. And I'll just go ahead and do the interior line right away. These sticks are simple enough that this is fine. Normally the only reason that I do things in phases is because everything is kind of complicated. And so if I did things one at a time, it would take a really long time. I mean, it still takes a long time even when I do them in phases, but at least then it's less mentally intensive. But here it's like, okay, I draw one line. I don't need to wait. I do not need to wait. Okay, and I'm just, you know, doing all the dividing lines and stuff too. Just gonna finish it all in one go here. Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. I think this one I will save for the end though, just so I can do it all at once. Just do it in one stroke. All in one stroke, just like that. There we go. Okay, and that's a fan. Let's go ahead and add some wood texture. So for that, I'm just gonna draw... Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna do the lines first. I was gonna draw the texture first, but this makes more sense. See how easy that is? I just draw a few lines and it just all comes together. They kind of ended up in varying degrees of lightness and darkness, but I think that's okay. I think it's fine. Oh yeah, and I should clip you. There we go. Okay. And now I just gotta color them and make that nice. I'll go ahead and get a light color for this too. But I'll go ahead and start with the dark one. This might actually be too many dark spots, but I'll figure it out. So I think I want to keep it mostly the mid-tone. I realize I probably should have drawn all of these from the same lines here, but whatever. I think this is fine. It'll be okay. Alright, let me pick a nice light color now. This time I think I can actually do a proper color pick and mix. Maybe not. That purple looks terrible against that, so yeah, not gonna do that. Okay, I guess I'll just have to pick. So once again, I bring this toward yellow and maybe like right there. How's that look? That is perfect. It's like I can pick colors okay. It's just really like mixing them. I think it makes everything more cohesive. I don't know. I just like it. I'll go ahead and add some of these dark spots back in after I finish coloring this. So I'll add a few light spots here and there. For these, I don't actually think that the location relative to the light source really matters. No, I didn't put any dark spots in there. That's incredibly silly. I should do that. I guess I'll add a little light one here. I think that'll be nice. Colored a little bit out of the lines there, so I'll have to go back and fix that. But that's okay. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I colored way out of the lines there, so here we are. Herp-a-derp. You know, it is a good thing that I can fix that because, man, art is hard. I did the little one in light, I think. Okay, that should look pretty nice. And then I just want to go back and re-add some of the dark spots that I kind of squashed. And these, yeah, I still don't think I want to line around them. I just kind of want them to be there, adding a little bit more contrast. Being nice. That's all. Okay, and then I got a line here that I would like to finish. There we go. He just kind of got confused and didn't quite reach the edge. Okay, there we go. I think that is fine. I don't think that stick needs any additional decoration or anything. I'll go ahead and check just to make sure that there's like nothing else on her fans. But it's hard to tell because, yeah, she's always holding it. But yeah, I don't see any tassels or anything, so I think I'll just leave it like that. And next time, it'll just be adding the pattern to the white part. And then I can get into her sleeve. And I'll just get into the rest of her clothes and stuff, and I can start finishing off her body. So, well on my way to getting this done and starting the next thing. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm so happy with it. It's kind of amazing to me just how much better it looks with the fan done. You know, since it was just this big blobby thing in the foreground that was just super messy. I might add some gradients to her hand now that I look at it. I think her thumbnail probably needs it. I think a couple of nice dark gradients around her fingers will look nice. But I think I should stop here for today because I could always just keep going and going. But I should probably stop. I got things to do. So go ahead and stop here for today. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.